Hi guys, today is a super exciting video because in a few days, yes, I'll be turning 30 and it's been so many memories, so many lessons learned, so many thoughts and perspectives formed, and I thought, why not share with you 30 lessons at 30 years? Let's go. So for these lessons or my thoughts, on these different things, some I'll just keep it brief, some I'll go into detail. Now, I'm such a talker, so I'm praying that I keep it, to the point. Okay, so the first thing I thought I would share is don't believe everything you see on socials. Let me tell you, do not believe everything that you see. And because I've been in this space for a few years now, maybe 3, I've seen that many people, we idolize influencers, we idolize pastors, people in, places of influence. We idolize them, and then when they fail, because they are men, they fail, then we are like crushed and saying, oh my God, how could Lisa do? Please, learn what you can learn from Lisa and, sieve out what you need to sieve out. If it didn't apply to you, then do that. So don't believe everything you see. The life that we put out there, the life that people put out there is curated, for different purposes, to learn, to inspire. So not everyone is going to, put out days when they are crying. So you'll be like, oh, Lisa's life is perfect and things like that. So I've learned that sieve, take everything with a pinch of salt, yeah, because I've gone through this experience. I'm also in different circles of people, even those influencers and content creators. It's not what it seems sometimes, so yeah, don't believe everything. But also on the other hand, because you do not see what those people go through, you do not know how hard they work. I've had messages from people saying, oh, your life is so easy. Let me tell you, it is not, It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of determination, consistency. You guys, I've been posting videos every single day for the past 3 years, yeah? Every week. On a Wednesday. It's not easy. That takes a lot of determination. So, don't believe everything you see. You think someone is having it easy, they are putting in the work. Don't idolize the people that you see. Learn what you can learn. And yeah, if it didn't apply to you, please do not take it in. That's the first point. The second perspective or the second lesson that I have learned from my experience and from hearing from different people, the man that you marry can change your whole life forever. He can literally change your destiny. If you choose wrong, you are finished. If you choose right, you're on the thing, I'm just imagining if I'd married a person who would not believe in my vision and allowing me to thrive in this space, I would be broken, I would be crushed. So make this decision thoughtfully, carefully, patiently, and do not rush into it. I've talked about this on my channel so many times. I don't want to get into it more, but please, the man you marry can change and alter your life forever. All right, 3, heal your trauma. Heal your trauma. So many of us, especially the ladies, okay, I know I'm also the men, but I'm talking from a woman's perspective. You've been hurt, you've been abused, you've gone through a lot. So many times in our previous past, we didn't know about therapy, we didn't know about just opening up and telling people about, where we are hurting. And we have kept so much trauma within us. And this affects the way we do life, the relationships we keep, the friendships we have, the partners that we choose. Because if you are abused, guess what? That is familiar to you. And you'll choose that kind of person because that is what you know. And that's just an example. So please, I hope people can normalize just healing from trauma. Get that Christian counselor that you can talk to, that therapist, and most importantly, take it up to God to heal you. Before you get into the bigger things of life, marriage and all these things, heal from trauma. The other perspective or the other lesson is that friendships have seasons. And when I've been going through my friendships, I've realized that I hold on to a lot, because, oh my God, she was my friend on campus, and you want to keep holding on to that friend, even when the friend has proved to you that, one, they don't want anything to do with you, but, like life has changed for them. And you have these expectations towards this person, but they cannot meet them. So just knowing that they can be your friend in that season. I had friends in high school. When we finished high school, yeah, most of them, we were no longer in the same season, in the same environment. I got new friends at campus. You hold on to a few that align with you. Maybe they become moms at the same time, or you get married at the same time. Your kind of value system kind of aligns. Those you can hold on to. But if you see that the friendships are being strained, you can't keep up, it's okay to let them go in that season and get new ones that are aligned. So for me, that's one thing that I've come to terms with. It's hard because no one talks about friendship breakups. They are hard. But yeah, it's something I thought I would let you know. The fifth thing is read a book. Read a book. I was never a reader until I had my first job years ago, and our employer required us to read books. Like, you'd always be reading a book and he would pay for the books. You read a book, you write your lessons, you present your lessons, to people, to other staff. Let me tell you, it changed my life. If you do not read, you're not exposed, you can't have conversations, you can't grow, in different areas. So please, in your 20s, I know sometimes you're like, as in, let me watch a movie instead, and that's okay. But if you can, grab a book and read it, please. I was those people in literature, when people are doing literature and reading books, I was just like, can never be me. But after seeing what books have done for me, let me tell you, grab a book. And I know physical copies sometimes can be expensive. Please check out www.pdfdrive.net. It has free ebooks. Like, now there's no excuse. Yeah. The other thing, number 6, is gratitude. Be thankful, be grateful. I've realized as I've been walking on this journey is many times we're living in a bubble because you have your family or you have, your life and everything seems to be good. You're not as grateful anymore to God for the things He has given you. You're complaining all the time. You're wishing for more because you do not see what you have. And one time when I was spending time with God, I got my journal and I was just looking through it. It's an old journal. And I used to write down 10 things I'm grateful for today. Every day I would write down. When I looked at the things I was grateful for, I was just like, what? Wow. And you see that God has actually brought them to pass. So you're grateful. I remember there's a time I was praying for, Lord, give me 2,000 subscribers. Imagine, it was a prayer request and I was relying on God and depending on God. I used to even circle. When I reach 1K, I circle it pink and I was grateful. I looked back and I was like, what? God has been faithful. Even in marriage, I would write certain things I'm grateful to God for. My husband, maybe there's something he did, etc. I'd look back and be like, wow. God has been faithful. So make it a daily habit. Be grateful. Write those things down because we forget. When something has happened, when you have achieved it, you're like on to the next one because that's life. You get this thing that you wanted, then you want another thing and you want another thing. So the process is continuous. But when do we stop and just breathe and say, Lord, thank you? I had a conversation with a certain lady and we're talking about children with disabilities, and I realized I'm living in a bubble. You take things for granted. The fact that your kids are well, are healthy, can walk, can talk. Let me tell you, be grateful. The 7th thing is, if you can travel in your 20s, please do. These are things that give you experiences that you will live to remember forever. And I realized once I started, because I got married early, I've shared before, I jumped into her whole parenting thing, what etc. I didn't go anywhere, and sometimes you're like, maybe I should have waited, maybe not, but I just wish that people could prioritize just traveling and seeing the world before you commit to all these things that, put you down or restrict you, or just a season that is a bit tight. See the world. Number 8, wait. All through my journey, one thing I've learned to is enjoy the process, because like I mentioned, we want to achieve all these things, and that becomes the goal. Now, if it's the goal, you're always trying to achieve it, you forget that the process is actually more important than, that point that you want to reach. Take an example on my YouTube journey. There are times I used to tell God, please, Lord, let my video go viral. Because when your video goes viral, possibly you get so many subscribers. So you jump like from here to there. But then I realized that no, God wants you to learn the process, to learn how to speak better, how to edit videos, how to work with a team. It's a lot, and that process has built me, has increased me, has taught me so much. So don't just hang on to wanting the end point. Allow the process to work in you, to change you, to mold you into someone better. But also on the topic of waiting, I will say this as a statement because I've said it over and over again. Wait to have sex before marriage. That is it. Number 9, failure does not define you. Let me tell you, if there's something I fear in my life, it's failure. Because when I set myself to do something, I give it all my best, and when it doesn't work out, I'm just like, I'm the failure. It is me, And I was reading a book recently, and they were saying, don't allow your greatness, don't allow your goodness to be defined by just one moment. Yes, that thing has not worked out, but what have you learned from it? And so many of us are holding on to failures that are keeping us from doing great things because you feel like, what if I fail again? Yeah, you may fail again, but what if it works out? So for me, that's something I've been trying to work with. Yes, it's hard, but I'm just trying to teach myself that failure does not define you. And there's a song, I like it. Okay, I can't sing, but let me just try to. No failure is final. The winds don't define you. None of it lasts. Like it doesn't last. Failure, it will go. Even your wins that you've got today, even tomorrow, it all passes. So what is the motivation? Just do what God has called you to do. There will be ups and downs, embrace them, but learn from them. Don't keep failure from keeping you great. Number 10, Jesus is the answer. Any question you have, Jesus is the answer. Any struggle, any situation, Jesus is the answer. Let me tell you, I've gone through all these 30 years, and all I see is Jesus at every point of the way. When my dad lost his job and we came from 100 to 0 just like that, and sometimes I'll tell God, but God, why me? Why have you put us through this? It was tough. I saw Jesus then. When I lost my mom, I saw Jesus then. Like at every point, Jesus is the one. So if you do not know Christ, I think this is an opportunity to just learn more about who he is, because whatever you're going through, he wants to be your friend and he wants to make it better for you. So please, look to Jesus. And maybe just to add on, I know so many times people who are not in the church, or people who keep saying, I don't want to go back into the church has hurt me. Just a word of encouragement. If we focus on Jesus and not looking at our fellow flock, pastor did this, that means Christianity does not work. Or Jesus is not, If you look to Jesus, then you will not be moved by what's happening in the world. So focus on him and do that which he wants you to do. That is my point. Number 11, stop pretending it does not hurt. Now, I've talked about trauma before. As moms, as women, as wives, somehow you're taught, or you just grow up needing to be strong. I keep telling people that once they say, it's a girl, struggle has begun. So many things we go through as women, and it can get tough. But we have shelved and packed and covered all our heart, that now it begins to manifest in the way we behave. Our character, what is it like? You find that people are angry, Please don't pretend it doesn't hurt. Open up, cry if you need to. You don't have to be strong woman and superwoman. If it hurts, tell someone about it, and please get some help. The next thing I've learned is do what you say you will do. Let me tell you, you make a promise, keep it. You make a commitment, keep it. I've heard the narrative where people say it's okay to change your mind. While that is true to an extent, I feel like So many people are changing their minds left, right, and center. They cannot commit to one thing. Someone says they're going to do this with you, and then before you know it, they're like, I don't feel like it anymore. Like, where are the manners? People, please do what you said you're going to do. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, I think verse 5, it's talking about the vows we make with God, and it adds on to say it's better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it. If you're going to say something and commit to it, please follow through. And I think one thing I'm trying to this year is have self-discipline. If I've said I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., I am waking up at 5 a.m. and I'm putting myself to the test. Like, I am being disciplined about it. But so many of us, you say you're going to do this. I want to start a YouTube channel. After 2 days, it's too hard. You drop it. I'm going to do this with this brand. After a few weeks, you don't do anything at all. I'm going to make it better with this friend. Like, you're dropping so many balls because you're not consistent. You're not disciplined. So mean what you say and say what you mean. That's what I'm trying to say. Number 13, get accountability and mentorship early on. There are so many mistakes I made in my 20s because I didn't have people who are holding my hand. And for so many young girls out there, my heart breaks that, the spaces are not there, or the women, that you need to have to support you on the journey are not there. So seek them out. If you see someone who's doing something that you like and you admire, try and reach them out, because you can't do this life alone. You make so many mistakes. I had good accountability in my Essex VAC, and then campus reached, and all the people who are holding my hand kind of went to different places. So I felt alone, and I made a number of mistakes along the way that I should have not made if I kind of, had that accountability environment. So please, now I have mentors, I have people I can call. I call Serena up and tell her, this and this and this. And then she first rebukes me in love, tells me the right thing to do, and encourages me in the word of God. As a young girl, as a young person, you need that. Number 14, start a business, fail at it, start again. When you're young, you can easily take many risks. Even if you're in the career space, the best time to start a business is that time, because those are the people who are going to buy from you. You're going to support your side hustle. The moment you clock 50 and you're retiring and now you've left, let me tell you, all the networks you have are going to do what? Go. No one wants to know you anymore. No one wants to pick up your phone because they'll think you want money from them and you're retired. So even when you're older, you can't make certain risks. You're not as agile. You cannot move from here to there. So if you're young, start that business early on, because you can never know if you're an entrepreneur before you actually start. I remember when I was in Essex VAC, I started an ushering business. The things I got to learn, because you're trying to reach out to clients, you're working, you're putting in the work. That stuff builds you. And all through that, the lessons I've learned there have helped me with my business currently. So start that business, and it's okay if it fails, but you will learn from it. Remember, I've talked about failure. So please, start today. Number 15, don't compromise your values for your friends or for any man or woman at that. Yeah. So you have a value system. Hopefully you do. Yeah. And you're so strong in it. You have certain things you believe in. Keep that. But we get pressured by the world. We get pressured by the things we hear, by the people we surround ourselves with. And before you know it, 1 year down the road, we're like, what happened to Lisa? Pananga, she used to, and you're no longer that person. I remember when I was on campus, the pressure can be there because you're a Christian girl, etc. And I had this friend who had a party at a bar. She had a birthday party, and she's like, please come. What? And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not able to come. She got pissed at me. She thought I was joking. She got pissed at me. She didn't talk to me for like a full year because I didn't come for her party. But she did not respect my value system, and she felt I was being too much, So it's okay for you to lose for the sake of Christ. So many times the fear of people overpowers the fear of God, Who are you revering more? Is it God? Is it people? So even as you make your decisions in life, please make sure that your friends do not make you change your value system, or you're trying to please a man and to grab him and to get him, that clock is running out, you're like, you know what, let me compromise on this car thing. You know, Kasta, it's just, God is gracious. He will forgive. Please, please. Number 16, as a mom and wife, you can't do it all. When I realized this, I was set free, because there's this perception of being superwoman. You must have everything in check. You must cook, you must clean, you must be a wife, you must mother, you must be present. Like, it's a lot. But when I realized that I can actually get help, I can delegate certain things, let me tell you, it was such a breath of fresh air. So we are held to this standard, and it's sometimes so high, but if you can get help, please do. Because we have so many women who are crashing, who are depressed because of all these responsibilities that are just hard to fulfill. So get help, seek help, talk to someone, get out of the same environment you're in all the time, especially as a mom. In May, we're going to be having Moms Gather, yes? So prepare yourselves if you're a mom and you know, or a mom to be, and you want some space where to learn with other moms, you know, to just network, to just breathe, dress up and look nice. Moms Gather will be happening in May, so please look out for it. Number 17, make your own money. Now, this is to the ladies. You know, so many ladies are out there leeching on men, like literally, you know. He must do my hair. He must pay for my bills. He must buy me a car. Sis, what are you doing? For you, what are you doing? Like, do something with your life. You can only find even your purpose if you're doing something. You can't just be sitting and expecting someone to foot your every bill. I did a red flag video on my Instagram, and people really liked it. And the ladies kept saying, "Ho, I am a red flag. Ho, I am a red flag." You know, ladies, do something. I told you as I started my ushering business in my Essex VAC, and I used to usher at events, you know, sometimes even serve drinks, welcome people, and all that stuff. And by the time Steve met me, that's what I was doing. I was working, and he could see a girl who is hardworking. Let me tell you, men love a woman who loves to work, who is hardworking, who is prudent, you know, all those things. So if you're just sitting and waiting on him, please, you know, get to do something. And actually, if I had not started that ushering thing, I would have never met Steve. Imagine. Even Rebecca, when she was at the well, she was working. When they phoned her, when that guy who they had sent, Abraham had sent his servant to get a wife for Isaac, Rebecca was working at the well, you know. So please be women who want to work, who want to do something with their hands. God has given you a skill, use it. Stop being a leech. Yeah. Number 18, life changes after babies. Don't rush. Don't rush. That's all I will say. Life changes. It will never be the same. You don't have to rush into it. You know, don't, to just say, anyway, bitch. No. Give it thought. Give it time. Enjoy time together with your husband, and it will be so much better. Number 19, have an abundance mindset. Now, my husband has been telling me this since we met, and it's still a journey because I have money scars, and that's something that all of us, many of us anyway, are dealing with. I get anxious when money is leaving my account, like literally, because of, you know, what I went through. I've shared, my dad lost his job when we were younger, and we went like to almost nothing, you know. When you're used to bowling, would have Zinellos every day after school, to now not having anything. So I was scared, and sometimes I've realized that the decisions I make are due to that fear and due to that scar, that what if everything goes, oh my God, let me save up all this, let me invest all this, because I never want my children to go through that. I realized that's a scar that I need to heal from. Abundance when it comes to who provides for you. Is it your work or is it God? And let me tell you, it's a daily thing that I'm working on. It's not easy, but it's something that we need to think about. The one who made you provides for you. You know, there's that verse in the Bible that says, he looks after the lilies and the birds of the sky. It's easy to read. When you're reading, it's like, yeah, he looks after the lilies, but when the account is being depleted, you're just like, lilies where? Please, you know. So have an abundance mindset and know that God is going to provide. The next big client is coming, you know. my cousin is always saying, the next big client is coming. Just believe that and be excellent. There's a verse that I like that says, show me a man skilled in his work and he will stand before kings. Oof. Let me tell you, do what you need to do. Be excellent at your craft and you will stand before kings. The money will be an overflow. Yeah. Number 20, you don't have to address everything. You know, when we are young, we're just like, Sha, let me go, let me do this, let me call her. How could she have said that to me? And I've been learning that you actually don't have to address it. Like, no, you don't have to address it. And I wrote here, choose who you will be, because the world has presented that if someone hurts you, go after them, you know, assure them. But the Bible tells us when they slap you on this ear, please turn the next cheek. Oh my God, it's like the hardest thing to do, yeah? But as you grow older, you realize, no, that person shouldn't take my time. No, it's going to take my time. It's going to take your emotions. You're going to even, it's going to get worse, yeah? So you can't control what people think about you, what people say about you. So please focus on what you're doing. Steve always tells me, you know, if I have it with someone, I'm like, oh my God, this person said this. He's like, did you do it? Like that thing that someone is accusing you of. I'm like, no. It's like, what's the problem? What is the issue? I'm like, no, but then my name, I need to protect it. It's not you who protects your name. It's God who does. So it reminds me of a story in the Bible of Joseph, yeah? So we all know Joseph was thrown by his brothers, etc. And then he went to the palace. And this lady, Potiphar's wife, accused him of like, oh my God, he tried to rape me, etc. And he was arrested for that. Do you know when you read through the word, they don't say anything that he was vindicated of rape. Like, God raised him, etc. But nowhere does it say he was vindicated. So you might find there are still some people who say, Choka, that guy, the rapist, you get it? Just leave things to God. But God elevated him even with that accusation. So honestly, it's a tough one, but I'm learning to just leave things. You don't have to address everything. Continue to do you, be true to who you are, and yeah, God will vindicate you. He will. Number 21, love is a choice. Love is a choice and not just a feeling. I know you feel those emotions, etc. But when you come, for example, into marriage, you choose this person every single day. Every single day I wake up, I choose Steve. Those things of, I no longer love him. You have chosen not to love him anymore. You have chosen, you know. So get that mentality out of you and stop working from a place of emotional love and actually start to work in a place of mature love. Like you're thinking, you've made a commitment, you know what it means, and you're sticking by it. So please choose to love that spouse. Because when you think that the grass is green on the other side, it will be the same thing because we're all not perfect. So yeah. Number 22, pray, pray, pray with your spouse, with your children. Now, I've been learning to pray with Steve. You know, so many times you pray for others, you pray with your children, you pray with your friends. Oh, even people in ministry, you pray. You can just, in fact, chase demons out of people, you know. But when it comes to spiritual intimacy, we are not praying with our spouses. And I realize that prayer is a place of vulnerability. That's when you get to hear the heart of your spouse. So if you do not be intentional about it, you're missing out on something. So all through this journey, I've been learning. Steve and I are trying to pray together at least daily, and I can see that he's, you know, getting out of his shell. I can hear his fears, I can hear his heart, and then I can actually support him on the things that, you know, he would need support from, because now I know. You don't want to be assuming. Now you're hearing firsthand what he's telling God, so you can pick that out and then support your spouse better. Even when it comes with your children, please pray for them. The generation we are living in, we cannot leave things to just for. You wake up, okay, you give them breakfast, okay. You have the power to change destiny for your children, break those chains, what generation or whatever they are, and set them on a path that they need, God needs them to be. But if we don't do it, if we don't pray for them, then guess what? The world will take them. Number 23, please start the journey of self-awareness. Now, I discovered purpose when I was already married. That may not be the the perfect route, but if you can, especially if you're single, you're in your 20s, you're still young, discover it early. Go on a journey of seeking it out. Read about purpose. Pray to God about purpose. Like, we need to start being intentional, because there are so many people in their 50s, they still don't know why God called them on this earth. And it's a bad place to live in. When God calls you, you don't know. 60 years down the road, you still don't know what's happening. You're just doing life for. Please start the journey of self-awareness. Know who you are. Know those weaknesses that you have. Like me, I know my weaknesses. Because when you know how to address them. Know your strengths. When you know your strengths, you know how to use them to better your life. Just go on a journey on learning yourself. Someone said, get a PhD in yourself. Then, you can start relating with other people even much better. 24. Yes, I think I'm on 24. Get your husbands and you into fellowship. You are married. You're doing life alone. Let me tell you, it's not a good place to be. And I know men don't like to go into these spaces, but be creative in giving him these spaces. Be creative in pulling him into these spaces. Be creative in getting friends that are good for him, because if we as wives and women are learning so much and bringing all this juice into the marriage, and yet the man is not learning anything, then we're going to be met with a force like that is, preventing you from thriving in the marriage. So find fellowships, find cells. And people keep telling me, for you, because Steve is a nice guy and what, so marriage is easy for you. But let me tell you, I put in the work. Weekly, I have BSF. I have weekly sale. Then I have a parenting group. Then I have a marriage fellowship. Like, when you see someone's marriage thriving, let me tell you, there are sacrifices being made, but there is work being put in it. So please find, since I don't know where to go to your church, find a local church that you attend. Find the fellowships on there. If they told you there was gold in a certain place, you would look for it, you would dig it out, whatever comes, But when things that are actually important to us, like marriage and family, we don't. We are just laissez-faire. Like, anyway, that's how he is. Get him into a space, get you into a space of growth. The next point is, it's okay to say no. Let me tell you, I'm such a people pleaser. And when I've started something like I've mentioned, I want to go through with it. So saying no is hard for me, because I'm like, oh my God, this person is going to feel bad. What are they going to think of me? Etc, etc, etc. And that has landed me in some trouble. I had a partnership that I said yes to. And along the way, I was like, there were so many red flags. But because I can't say no, she will feel bad. It landed me in issues, So please, it's okay to say no. Guard your heart, guard your mind, guard your brand, guard who you are, guard your marriage. Yeah? Just because someone has vibed, you don't have to say yes. Guard your marriage, guard your friendships. Not everyone should be in your inner circle. Yeah? People are just out there with wrong motives. So guard yourself. People keep saying he would always have the three. Okay, Simon, James, I think, and John. Let's go here. He had please have an inner circle. Number 26, start saving and investing early. You do not have time. So many people who are in their 20s are on YOLO. You only live once. I'm still young. Sure. What? Let me tell you, you're going to blink and you're 50 and you have nothing to your name. And the people who you're looking after are going to struggle. Please start saving early. You lose nothing by putting money aside. You're being wiser, and you will actually have more room to leave an inheritance for your children's children when you start it off early. So don't waste money. I hear people who spend millions in a night in a club or random things that are just going to, they're not important. Focus. You can still be focused. People keep saying you don't have to have it all figured out. So just enjoy life. You can have it figured out early, because when you do, then that means you're going to have and live a life of purpose. So save early, invest money, learn about money. How does it work? How do I keep it? How do I grow it? How do I invest it? Please, it's not too late to start. Number 27, if he's not actively pursuing God, you may struggle. And we've talked about dating so many times. And one of the things I keep emphasizing is he actively pursuing God? Not does he go to church on Sunday? Oh, he's just nice, he's so kind, all that stuff. He must be actively pursuing God. I've seen families where, because the guy is the spiritual head of the home, where, first Sunday reaches, it's raining, you don't go to church. Second Sunday, we are tired until the whole Saturday you were out. You've not gone to church. The next Sunday, there is always an excuse. Before you know it, one whole year, your family has never stepped into church. Well, you are a nice Christian girl, but you chose a guy who was not actively pursuing God. Let's go for fellowship. Sure, that's too much. Your marriage may struggle. 28, that passion that you have can make you money. I remember when I had just been employed, my first job after campus, my employer asked me to write down, I think it was, 50 things or 30 things you want to achieve in life, just generally, because he wanted to assess what part of the journey can he support in. And I remember clearly, one of the things I wrote down is, I want to be on a billboard. And of course, in that time, it was funny. There are those innate desires you have. You don't know why, but I want to be on a billboard. I love to talk. I want to be on TV. All those things. And then as I grew up, I realized God has given you those things, those inner desires or those gifts and skills for a reason, because purpose is tied to some of them, So look at me here now. I'm not yet on a billboard, but I have my own billboard here, the channel. So I love to talk, and sometimes people will tell you you're talking too much. Maybe you're talkative. It may be like a negative, but let me tell you, it's not. That passion that you have to speak, the passion you have to be creative, it's going to come in handy. So look at the things you love to do. How can you turn them and monetize them? Because it can make you money. I'm a living testimony of that, and I'm so glad I heed to the call on my life, and we are thriving. We are thriving. So yeah. The next point is celebrate life. Celebrate every season. Celebrate every achievement. Celebrate every win. I am such a believer in celebration. When it's my birthday, let me tell you, I am going to celebrate. I am going to celebrate. I'm traveling to Dubai with my spouse. I am going to celebrate. When I make even 25,000 or more YouTube subscribers, I celebrate. Like, make things a big deal, because they are a big deal to you. Sometimes, in the whole, I want to be humble, we forget to celebrate how far we have come. So if it means throwing yourself a party, do it. If it means going out and, for a movie or whatever it is, things that bring you joy, please celebrate life. I think it's something that has just made me just more happy in life, and just knowing that tomorrow you may not have it, so why don't you live today like it's your last? Yeah. And finally, point number 30, drum roll please. Embrace change. We need to embrace change. As life goes on, we change. I change, you change. So embrace it. When I was asking Steve about what do you think things I've learned over time, because he knows me, so we talk. One of the things he says, in the way you dress, you're more modest in the things that you wear. It's like, when I just met you, what? Even when you got married, you used to wear tight things, like you'd be like, babe, tie my zip. I love the body hugging. You buy a dress and it's high to the point of, I don't know if it's age or growing in my relationship with God. Like now, I'm more modest with the things that I wear. And it's a beautiful thing to change. So don't get stuck in, that is how I used to be, that is who I am. You change. Accept change to happen. Adjust to new seasons of life. Adjust in marriage. Adjust, when seasons change, when you get children. Don't try to be holding on to the single you. No. Now you have a new family. How do you approach life? Yeah. When there is money, how do you approach life? Because me, I'm that kind of person. If I go to a place and I use that restroom, let's say the last restroom on the right or something like that, when I come back, I'm the kind of person who will go to that same restroom over and over again, because it's familiar. It's predictable. Do you get what I mean? So sometimes I just make it a point. I'm like, no, I'm not going to that bathroom anymore. Just change. There's beauty in a new thing, a new environment. Yeah. So yeah, those have been my 30 lessons. I make 30 on 15th March, and I can't wait for the new season. They say you start living at 30. I don't know how true that is because I've been living. So if there's more living, I can't wait to experience it. Yeah. My name is Lisa Kusima. Let me know in the comments what has been your biggest take home. Amore is here. Till we inspire.